Done. And sorry for there's a bit of delay in between the screen and the talking. So, okay, now we're on the slide. We're showing the solar PV project of medium scale.
Okay, thank you, Ala. So we've upscaled our systems. We began in 2008, 2009, doing small systems for schools, municipalities, etc., with storage. So they were dual mode systems. They can connect both to the grid when the grid power is available, and when it's not available, there'll be an island mode, and they charge batteries that will feed electricity into the school. Then we upscaled and we began with the hybrid PV systems that we're seeing a lot of these days. We have around 2.7 megawatts of systems installed in different places. Here we cooperated with the private sector, we cooperated with non-governmental organizations, and we've installed these particular systems. A few of them have storage installed, especially now because of the crisis that we are facing. Next slide, please, Anna. This is a few photos of some pictures. The Jmeil Frère, it's a factory in Bikfaya, Libonlé in the Bekaa, Tahrir Institute in the south, Nabatiya Market, Jdeïdet al-Chouf, it's for a wastewater treatment plant, Arc-en-Ciel, Notre Dame de Secours, it's a 600 kilowatt peak hospital. These are different pictures of the sites we've implemented. Another project that's really interesting is the one for, can you go back? Yes, is the one for biomass. Here under the host community projects, we were importing briquettes for many homes, but then we decided to actually build a facility to manufacture briquettes. And so in Kessin in the south and Andit and Akkar, we created sustainable forestry management plans, and we work with the municipalities so that they can prune their forests and collect the dry material from their forests, and then they would get this raw material into this factory and they'll produce briquettes that will be delivered, a lot of which will be delivered to the homes in those villages. The good thing about this is that, one, it creates rural employment. Two, it's a sustainable source of heating that can displace what people were using before in terms of oil. And third, it helps to protect the forests in terms of lowering the risks of fires. Next, Alain. Now, some examples of the projects we do that we respond to a crisis. The first one is the one for the blast, the August 4 blast. Next slide, please, Alain. One more, yes. So we all know, we all lived this very sad day. And as UNDP, we focused on the Karantina area. We did a survey of all the households of the Karantina area, and we helped them with solar hot water systems. So we installed around 214 solar hot water systems. For those homes that did not have space on the roof or what have you, we upgraded the electric heaters. We also did some solar street lighting interventions as well. Next, Alain, please. We also helped the fire brigades located in the Karantina region with a 50 kilowatt peak solar system with a lithium battery storage of 100 kilowatt hour, and also a solar hot water system. This system is really helping the fire brigades at this moment. They are practically not turning on their generator anymore. After these implementation of projects, I mentioned that we do assessments. So if you could look at this link, this website link, and we will share this presentation later with this link, you would see that we have a lot of studies done on sustainable energy. I won't name them, but they range from resources, from policy, from economics, from technical feasibility, etc. These are just some photos of these publications. Next, Alain, please. In terms of advocating for policy, more than a decade ago, we began initiating net metering with the Ministry of Energy and Water and EDL. So we initiated net metering. We supported EDL to implement net metering. We created the online portal for net metering for EDL. We tried to work with EDL on community net metering as well. But unfortunately, with all the work we're doing here with EDL, and given the circumstances of EDL at the moment, their capacity to implement net metering is highly limited, and I don't think they'll be able to carry out net metering, whether it's single net metering or any other type of net metering, until the reforms that we have been waiting for so long occur, until EDL has been given a new role, restructured, empowered, given the independence it needs, and the resources it actually needs. Another interesting thing we're doing is that we have partnered up with the International Renewable Energy Certification Foundation, and with them we are creating a market for RECs. RECs are energy attribute certificates, where every 1 megawatt hour of renewable energy generated can be certified by a third party, and then this certification it could first validate how much we're generating renewable energy, and two, it could be sold to create an additional market. Now you can skip, Alain, the slide here. Another one. I talked about this. Yeah. Last, in terms of outreach and capacity building, we do a lot of those. Everything we've implemented, the sites, we do capacity building for the facilities themselves. We do trainings for the experts, the companies, the consultants, the contractors on these different technologies. We have 2 programs now being launched. One is targeting around 100 students to give them a 2-month internship, very, very intense in solar hot water design, installation, operation, maintenance, and also solar solar PV. Next, Alain, please. These are just some of the pictures that we've of some conferences and workshops that we have undertaken over the years. Next. These are some awareness. We also do a lot of awareness and outreach to students of different ages. Next. Okay, Alain?
Yes.
I would like you to just introduce yourself very briefly, and you can go on from here, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Hassan. You're hearing me well, yeah, right?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, we hear you.
Okay. My name is Alain Abissad. I'm the project engineer on the Cedro 5 project. Today, I will be talking about the ongoing projects under the Cedro umbrella. First of all, I will start with the Cedro 5 project, and then we'll talk about the SE4S, the Sustainable Energy for Security project with the Lebanese Army. And finally, we'll talk about the Solar for Health project that Hassan mentioned previously. I'll go over the activities that we're doing in every project. First, under the Cedro 5, we're implementing 5 different activities. First activity is related to innovation, entrepreneurship, and research, where we're planning to have an energy hub. I'll talk more in the coming slides about it. Support the green startups and entrepreneurs, scale-ups, and empowering women in the energy sector. As for activity 2, it's about technology transfer, where we have several technologies in renewable energy and energy efficiency that we're planning to implement with industries in Lebanon, which are solar PV systems with storage, energy efficiency in industries, solar thermal application in industries, and biogas applications. Also under activity 2, we have the building rating system, which is the RS 2.0, sorry, with LGBC, the Lebanese Green Building Council. And also we have the community initiatives, the SICAPs with the ClimaMed project. Under activity 3, we have the policy initiatives and enabling environment. Hassan talked about the net metering and community net metering, in addition to the renewable energy credits or the renewable energy certificates that we need to start initiating in Lebanon. As for activity 4, it's about vocational training and capacity building training, where we will train people on the technologies that we wanted to implement in activity 2, the 4 technologies that I've named, in addition to the train the trainers courses. And last but not least, activity 5, awareness raising and donor visibility, where we're doing campaigns about renewable energy and energy efficiency through several platforms. I'll go quickly in every activity. Please let me know if the screen is flipping, because there was a delay between Hassan's voice and moving with the slides. So for activity 1, as we talked, we are creating a platform called the Energy Hub platform, which is dedicated for facilitating communication and collaboration between available initiatives, incubators, entrepreneurs, programs, academics, and financing institutions, where it will be a one-stop shop for any energy-related project, program, job opportunity, studies, assessments, industries, donors, and everything related to the energy sector in Lebanon. This platform also seeks to foster a collaboration for the green energy transition in Lebanon, where we'll also complete the directory of the energy efficiency and renewable energy sector in Lebanon. It would be the space to do this. And also under activity 1, we have incubated more than 20 startups in the energy field, where 5 applicants or 5 startups reached the final stage for acceleration phase. The Cedro 5 is doing a full 1-year program for all these 20 startups to incubate them and accelerate 5 of these startups. The program is called the Energy Innovation Hub. As for activity 2, mainly it's focused on technology transfer. Hassan mentioned previously the solar PV and the solar thermal back in the previous Cedro project. Now we are initiating the lithium-ion battery solution in addition to the solar PV solution as one comprehensive solution, so that we can turn off our generators like what we have done in the fire brigades. Now it's been more than 6 months they are running on solar PV and batteries. The other technology is solar thermal with different scales. We're talking about non-concentrated and concentrated. We're planning also to implement 2 biogas plants for industries or farms, and 3 energy efficiency measures or projects for industries, where we are offering partial grants in addition to the full technical supports for industries that apply. For solar PV, as I mentioned, our plan is to introduce advanced solar storage techniques, such as lithium-ion battery storage, advanced monitoring and control technique to optimize the operation of the solar PV, along with the diesel generator, and the potential to include demand-side management strategy. And we were planning to introduce the variable speed generators, but it would be on a next level, since it's a bit early for that now. For solar thermal, as we said, we're talking about the 2 scales, the non-concentrated and the concentrated. We're planning to create the market for the concentrated solar thermal to generate heat or steam at a higher temperature, more than 100 degrees, reaching 200 degrees Celsius, especially for industries where they can, some applications for these concentrated solar collectors are sterilizing, bleaching, distillation, even steam generation. As you can see here, these collectors are either they have two different shapes, either a parabolic trough or a linear Fresnel. They can be used either to generate electricity or generate direct steam to the industry, or to support the steam boiler in the industries. For biogas, we're planning to implement 2 biogas plants where the organic waste would be animal manure, agricultural waste, commercial or industrial waste, or even sorted waste. Slaughterhouses also can work, or lactose serum from cows, where this organic waste will be transformed into methane gas that can be used also for heating electricity, or methane gas by itself. For energy efficiency for industries, we're here it's a very wide field. We're targeting mainly industries, what we can do as energy efficiency measure to lower the cost of diesel or the cost of fuel for industries. We have several interventions here. Here you can see the economizers installed for a boiler, where they can, which is a type of a heat regeneration. Here, the condensate recovery also for the boiler system, where the condensate can be reused. That's a heat exchanger, where it's where you can go into a water to water, air to water, or water to air heat exchanger. Installation of VFDs also we can do that. In addition to that, we're offering also for the industries an industrial energy audit. So for every intervention, renewable energy or energy efficiency intervention that we wanted to do, Cedro 5 is offering a full industrial energy audit as per ASHRAE level 2 for each industry, where we're installing temporary metering, getting data, analyzing these data, and coming up with energy efficiency measures for the industry to implement in their near future. Under activity 2, there's also the ARIS 2.0, which Cedro 5 is collaborating with the LGBC to develop the first ARIS rating system. Mainly, it's a green building rating system for commercial buildings, offices, hospitals, hotels, and schools, in order to allow free and unrestricted access to user-friendly tool tailored by the Lebanese market. So it can compete any international rating system, but it's used for the Lebanese market. Also under activity 2, we have the community initiatives SICAPs, where we're collaborating with the ClimaMed project, also under the EU, to implement solar PV projects for the municipalities that have done their SICAPs, which is the Sustainable Energy Action Plan. Some of these projects are in Ba'lin, Iblias, Batloun, Hasbaya, Bishmizin, Dumniye, Nabishit, where we're solarizing the schools, public schools, the municipalities, healthcare units, libraries. Now, what we're doing, in addition to the solar, we're introducing also lithium-ion battery storage due to the absence of the grid and the absence also of the generator subscription. So we're upgrading also these systems to install lithium-ion batteries, so that the municipality can run independently from the grid and from the generator. For activity 3, as Hassan mentioned, policy initiatives and enabling environment. Under the Cedro 5, we're targeting 2 things. The first is to continue assistance for the EDL in the single net metering, in addition to introducing the community net metering. In addition to that, here also you can find the link where you can go online and apply for a net meter, fill in the net meter application. It's found in this link. In addition to that, we are working with the IRAC to investigate first the applicability of the racks in Lebanon, then establish a system for the rack generation, along with the Ministry of Energy and Water. In addition to that, we are planning to disseminate information about racks markets in Lebanon. In this way, you can know if the energy you're consuming is a renewable energy source, or it's from the utility, or what type of renewable energy you're using. Under activity 4, we have 2 main trainings that we're planning to perform this year. The first is the Train the Trainer workshop, covering the 4 technologies that we talked about, and the second one is an internship for university students in solar PV and solar water heater, in addition to the to their personal capacity building in leadership, CV writing, interviewing, and teamwork building. The last activity under this project is communications, where we planning to disseminate the renewable energy in Lebanon through educational posts, testimonial videos, animated slides, animated videos, crowdfunding campaigns, podcasts, website. Our website is renewed. You can go to our website cedro-undp.org. And also we are planning to issue newsletters. Also under YouTube, we have the Energy Espresso under the UNDP Lebanon channel, where we have launched 8 podcasts about renewable energy and energy efficiency, where we have hosted Lebanese experts in the field, and they talk each about their experience in the field. We have industries, we have from the ministry, we have financials, and we have other experts. For the Solar for Health project, mainly we're targeting the first COVID responders, first governmental hospitals that responded to the COVID patient, to the COVID-19 patients, which were 10, and we added 5 to them. Our intervention is related to lighting retrofit, solar photovoltaics, solar water heater, energy audit, building management systems, in addition to the capacity building on all the interventions that were done. Some of these hospitals, we have the Rafiq Hariri University Hospital, Bint Jbeil, Nabatiya, Baalbek. So mostly we're covering the whole Lebanon, where we're installing new lighting fixtures for all of these 10, new PV systems also for all these 10, and we're installing a new solar water heater system, or maintaining the old solar water heating systems that were installed in these hospitals. Recently, we are planning to solarize 5 additional hospitals, also governmental, without doing the solar water heater and the lighting. Here we focused mainly on the energy audits in the hospitals, where the energy audit identified the energy efficiency measures for each hospital. Here we summed up the common energy efficiency measure found in all the hospitals, which are mainly the BMS installation, where we can monitor all our system and control it. The building envelope improvement, installing air curtains, installation of sun control window, roof waterproofing, compressed air and steam systems. We have detected a lot of leakages in their steam system and air compressed systems, where they have a lot of energy losses there. Energy management and staff awareness campaign. We should spread the culture of energy conservation among the staff and employees. We had a lot of issues there. Green procurement, and initiating policies and putting procurement processes to procure green equipment, and HVAC system improvement, also moving to VRV system instead of splits. Lighting retrofit control and load management, solar PV, solar thermal, maintenance management awareness program, and water conservation measures. I'll go quickly over an example from the Tripoli Governmental Hospital, where an energy audit was done, and I'll go quickly over some results. Here, if you can see on the left side of the screen, there's a pie chart showing, we can see clearly that medical equipment in orange consumes 47% of the total load, and 5% goes for lighting, 12% for HVAC, 80% for cooling. On the right, you can see the annual energy consumption. It's the same numbers, but in kilowatt hours, how much they are consuming energy for every section. Here are some energy analysis from the thermal energy, not the electric energy. There is in Tripoli Governmental Hospital, they have domestic hot water network, and they have space heating hot water network. In this table, you can see for 4 months the boiler's diesel consumption, which matters in this case. If you compare, for example, for September, they use 44,000 liters for diesel generator and 15,000 liters for boiler for heating. Also, this was analyzed. The estimated diesel consumption to produce hot water was around 177,000 liters, which is more than $85,000 nowadays, taking into consideration the diesel calorific value of 35.94 megajoule per liter. Here are the energy efficiency measures identified, where also we identified the energy savings, the cost, estimated cost for every project, and the payback for each energy efficiency measure done. Some of them are employee awareness and engagement, vinyl curtains and cold room as part of the building envelope, air curtain on entrance, lighting retrofit, lighting control, VFD system, variable frequency drives for their motors, solar PV and the BMS. In addition to that, the auditor recommended solar street lights and VRF systems, but their price was a bit high, so they had a high payback period. That's why they were put apart. So, for example, the lighting retrofit would save them around 180,000 kilowatt hours a year, which is around 6 to 13% of their total load. The project would cost around 65,000, and the saving is 20,000 a year. So the payback would be around 3 years. Finally, the Sustainable Energy for Security project, which is for the Lebanese Army. The Lebanese Army climate change mitigation, adaptation, energy security, and sustainability development are now integral part of the national security. The Lebanese Army have aligned their objectives with Lebanon's Paris Agreement pledge, where they said that they will have 20% of their total electricity consumption to be generated from renewable energy in 2030. And 20% of its total thermal consumption also should be generated from renewable energy in 2030. 10% reduction in energy use per square meter by 2030 also. So under this project, several renewable energy and energy efficiency technologies were implemented. And these technologies were done in different scales. PV and micro winds, 23 systems were installed. 23 systems of solar water heater, 10 biomass pellet boilers were upgraded, 20 biomass stoves were installed, 40 tons of biomass pellet per year were distributed, two building envelope retrofit, 200 solar streetlights were installed, 30 pico PV solar were distributed, 220 efficient fence lighting were installed, in addition to search lightings, LED towers, blinkers, and deployable energy systems were installed. These are some photos of solar street lights, fencing, solar water heater, lighting, and stoves. And that's it from my end. Thank you for listening. We're open to questions.
If I may start, I have a question for Dr. Harajli about two-way meters. I thought he mentioned that there is a problem with that. If he can elaborate on it.
Yes, of course. Net metering has to be implemented by EDL. They have a committee at EDL for net metering, and they put a process in place. But EDL is heavily understaffed where it should be staffed, and maybe overstaffed where it should not be staffed. And given all the problems that EDL is facing, especially after the port explosion with no building, given the general problem of the salaries of the sector and of course the private ones who earn in Lebanese, who are now, their salaries are not worth much, and they don't come to work anymore, maybe once a week, because they cannot afford to. So all these things are, all these problems are different problems. They're put together, it's a perfect storm. And so expecting them to implement net metering is impossible. Now that we have an explosion of solar energy in specific, given the crisis, the demand for net metering should the electricity from EDL become better, because now it's only 1 or 2 hours a day, which is really doesn't make any sense to net meter anymore, then EDL needs to completely shift and invest in its department for renewable energy. The distributed sustainable energy law that was passed by the Council of Ministers, and now it's awaiting the Parliament. It gives EDL a right to create a renewable energy department that will hopefully cater to the implementation of net metering in all its kinds. So this law allows single net metering if you install in your house or in your industry to net meter with the grid. It allows multi-site net metering. So if you have an industry in Beirut, but you don't have land, you can actually install solar in the Bekaa, for example, and you can wheel this power virtually to your import meter in Beirut. So that needs a wheeling agreement, a connection agreement, and of course all the billing and the administrative work behind it. So there's so many things that should be done by EDL. At the moment, EDL cannot do any of those. If you want to apply, I've installed a solar system 2.5 years ago. I applied for a net meter using the online portal that we have set up. Now they do talk to me every now and then or what have you, but they have not installed a new meter, and it's not working. So we need EDL to be back on its feet to implement these schemes.
That's good. Anyone has questions? In the meantime, I have another question. How do you select schools for installing solar systems?
When we started the first set of schools in 2009, we collaborated with the Ministry, of course, of Education and Higher Education, and we launched a call for schools to submit an application in the local newspapers and through an internal memo sent out from the ministry to all the schools. Recently, the schools that we are working with, we are collaborating, as Ala mentioned, with an EU project called the LMAG project. LMAG project, they help municipalities write their sustainable energy and climate action plans. These are documents that each municipality has to write, where they put their development priorities, specifically in relation to climate change and sustainable energy. So we came in to assist this project to implement some measures in energy for those villages who have implemented these particular plans. And so we selected, in coordination with the LMAG project, the schools within these. There were like 6 or 7 villages. So this is how we selected these. We may have a project that will launch next year. We're going to call it Solar for Education. And here we're probably going to invest a lot more in education facilities, universities and schools, public and private. But that will not happen until next year. And the selection process will be based on a competitive call as well.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
I think we have someone from the chat.
Yes, Carol. Go ahead, Carol.
Hello, thank you very much for this immense and exhaustive, immense work and exhaustive presentation. I keep receiving on my email the awareness notes that come out of UNDP in this regard, but I didn't think that the work was so intense. Congratulations I just would like to know, have
Thank
you
you.
encountered any shortage in batteries in installing these systems?
Alain, would you like to answer that?
Hello, Carol. You mean shortage in the supply of batteries or shortage in the power, in the energy coverage of batteries?
No, no, a shortage in the supply of batteries. For
Uh,
this.
n- Logistically, yes, there's plenty of issues happening internationally, worldwide, in securing, especially lithium-ion batteries, because you cannot ship them except in the sea. They are not allowed to go into air. Concerning the shortage in the energy, we're doing sizings, designs according to the data collected from site, installing energy meters to know the energy consumption, and accordingly the batteries were sized and installed. We're focusing mainly on the lithium-ion battery systems instead of lead acid or gel due to their sustainability, higher life cycle, less space, cleaner, and even better in discharge.
Okay, I have a question for you, Alain. You are saying lithium batteries are better in recharge and have a long lifespan. However, they are much more expensive. What about the economical aspect of that?
Mainly lithium-ion batteries were commercialized or put into the commercial field a couple of years ago, around 5 or 6 years. So definitely their prices are more expensive than other old school batteries, if you want. But if you compare their life cycle to their price, you can installing lithium-ion battery would be better. If you need to compare it for a lead acid battery that lives for 4 to 5 years or 2,000 cycles, where a lithium-ion battery can live for 6,000 cycles, that cost around 40% more than the lead acid battery. A quick calculation would show you that investing in lithium batteries system is better and more efficient for the long term.
I see. You take into consideration how many other batteries you need for the life cycle of lithium batteries.
Definitely. It's for the long term. We shouldn't look at the short term of the. If you need to look for the short term, definitely you'll go for a lead acid or gel, depending on the use of the battery. But looking for 10 years or more, you'll find the lithium ion battery cost way cheaper than the others if you need to simulate their cost over 10 years.
So 40% is a good number? 40%
yes.
cheaper in the long run?
No, what I meant in 40%, I said that now if you need to go to the market and buy a lithium-ion battery with the same size, it would cost you around 40% more than a gel battery. But this 40%, if you divide it over the 10 years, it would be more beneficial.
Good.
There is a question on the chat by Mr. Fuad. He's asking what are some of the local obstacles regarding energy policies and issuing licenses for the implementation of energy projects. I would just answer briefly. In terms of the policy, there's two types: the distributed renewable energy and the utility scale. The utility scale, it's a big problem. It's related to implementation of law 462, the implementation or the setting up of a regulatory authority to license utility scale renewable energy, and which has not been implemented for 20 years now. in the absence of implementing Law 462, the government has been resorting to these short-term laws that, like Law 54, 288, 129, I think, that allowed the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Energy and Water to send proposals to the Council of Ministers to license renewable energy projects. Only one project, which is the wind project in Akkar, 3 wind projects, were able to escape under this particular law. There's the solar projects now, the Council of Ministers accepted them as well, at 180 megawatts spread out across 12 projects, I think. It also escaped, although the Council of Ministers gave these permits or licenses a few days after the expiry of the law. So I don't know if this will actually pass. But definitely to have a solid, sustainable, transparent system in place, you need a regulatory authority. And this is one of the key demand of the international community, including the World Bank and the IMF, that we have to set up the regulatory authority, and not only set it up for the sake of setting it up and then hiring based on affiliations with politicians or what have you. No, setting up an autonomous, independent regulatory authority and hiring based on the professionalism and the expertise of those who want to apply. So this is the main obstacle there. I don't think we have any way forward except to implement this. Maybe this new parliament now will do the pressure of the changes that are required. I don't know. And the distributed side, I talked a bit about the issues. There's a distributed renewable energy law. It will help a lot to organize the sector. But at the end of the day, we need EDL to be empowered, to be able to well integrate all these different distributed renewable energy sources that are being installed every day. Do you think, yes, there's another question, Doctor. Do you think wind power is viable to generate? Yes, definitely. In 2010, we did the wind atlas for Lebanon, and we were pleasantly surprised that for a small country, we have at least 1,500 megawatts of wind potential. And we have some sites, particularly in Akkar, that are considered Class A sites. So the wind resources are really high. The technology of wind has also evolved a lot. So we expect capacity factors to be around 45%, which is really good. So yes, wind will be very important for us. I'm talking about large scale wind only. They'll be important to be integrated into our electricity mix, including hydro, including solar, and including natural gas as well. So yes, I think it's viable. It's economically viable. I think the PPAs that were signed for 9.6 cents per kilowatt hour. And I think now the government can negotiate these prices downward a bit. So it's very competitive, very viable, especially when you want to compare it to the cost of generating electricity using fuel oil and heavy fuel oil and diesel.
Dr. Harajli, it's interesting that you are mentioning Akkar. So the Bekaa Valley is not as good as Akkar for generating electricity from wind.
Yes, if you want to do in a comparative sense, Akkar is the best place. It really has amazing sites in terms of wind. The wind resources are over 9.5 meters per second a year on average. They're considered Class A sites. You do have some other areas here and there, but it's mostly in Akkar. For the Bekaa, it's of course solar and the Bekaa. For the solar farms in Lebanon now, the government has agreed with these solar farms that they would sign an agreement for 20 years to sell power from the Bekaa. I think it was 5.6 cents per kilowatt hour in the Bekaa, and around 6.6 cents plus or minus outside the Bekaa. Alan, you want to add something?
I just wanted to add that in the BK for a sustainable, consistent renewable energy source, they have a lot of potential in the hydro. In case they want to, instead of wind, يعني, it has its different geography than Akkar, so they can invest in hydro also.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions?
Vahe?
Vahe?
Yes,
Go ahead.
hello. First of all, thank you for this amazing presentation. I have a question in mind that's been running on my mind all day since morning. I had a small project. I presented a concept of a self-charging car that uses solar energy. It has solar panels built in on its roof. So my question is, would it be possible to have an electric car that uses solar energy to charge its batteries, or is it something that's really not doable right now in order to solve the fuel crisis?
Okay, we have, since you asked, we have a new project that we're launching at the UNDP. It's not particularly a Cedro, it's another project funded by the Global Environment Facility that's going to look at sustainable transport. It's going to pilot 2 electric buses with solar charging, but not on the rooftop of the bus, so on the stations. We're going to purchase 2 buses for the ISF, the police, and do 2 charging stations on solar for them. So I would leave the floor to Alain to add to what I'm saying, but I don't. There are solar powered cars are available, but not on a scale that we're seeing, because the car needs significant power, and so solar with the space you have on the car is very limited to be able to provide the batteries with the charge that they need, especially if you want to drive this car on a frequent basis. Alain, you want to add anything there?
No, Hassan, I think you covered everything.
But definitely, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. It helps to charge. But I think the added value of the solar will be small, especially if you want to drive this car on a frequent basis. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. If there are no further questions, I'd like to thank Dr. Harajli and Alain again for a very interesting presentation. It had a lot of technical information, and it seems that UNDP and Cedro have a lot of projects going on in Lebanon. So we like to thank you again. And we hope to have further sessions like this from you, from Dr. Harajli or anyone else. I think this is a good series to continue.
Thank you very much, Dr. Osama. It's been an honor to be invited here. I thank everybody for this. We will send you the presentation and the link for the recording when it's ready.
Okay, thank you very much. And I like also to thank everyone who attended.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
Bye.